Hello, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how G2 attacks on bind. I'm going to mainly talk about attack because defense changes a lot based on who you're facing, but attack principles and macros and fundamentals relatively keep the same other than if the enemy team has Yoru. So I will cover about Yoru too, but most of it how you should want to attack this round and how G2 attacks and which areas are important and how you should do it. So let's get into it. To attack, you want to go very default heavy style, especially with the Viper. But in the first two to four rounds, you kind of want to go a little fast to give the impression that you want to play 5-man executes more and pull the rotation faster. So it's kind of first 4 round, you want to make enemy think that, oh, you guys want to execute, you can fast rotate. So to start it off, there's a good pistol round that G2 does where Gecko mollies land here and Sky immediately docks from the long, and meanwhile this 4 people scale, and also it's important to line up that Viper needs a one-way here. So whoever stays in the garden area either has to get stunned by the Skydog or they have to go back to elbow, and when they're going back to elbow, this 4 people can catch them up. So it's a good execution pistol round that you kind of want to start this, and it's important to win attack pistol rounds in this map. So this is the pistol round. Let's look at some examples from our games. Sky be long.
Ready? Clutching.
He's long. Garden.
Quite long.
Nice.
Zephyr cam here, so could be inside and two.
One trip down.
Deadlock on the.
Sure.
Oh, two.
Ready? Watching.
Two.
Oh,
On anti-eco rounds, which means the enemy team on eco, there's a couple areas you should avoid that. These 2 areas you should avoid as an attacker to go in, and also your game plan should reflect that decision too. In anti-eco rounds, you need to be careful about this kind of aggressions and this kind of aggressions. That's why you want to start towards more people long, because it's, as an eco is harder aggressive because of long range fight. And if you see heavy fighting here with the smoke, you might just wait because you have better guns and still hold the long range fights. So that's why on anti-eco you'd rather towards the go B because it's harder to retake B, and you can also force more kind of especially with the Gecko long range fights, because you don't need to cross here to plant the spike because Gecko can plant here and you can just hold it. And especially if you hold the elbow spam, that's the only thing they can get the Gecko off the plant. So on anti-eco, you want to start with first Gecko dizzy bouncing off this wall, landing here. After that, you want to skydock to get this whole control in B long. And after you get B long control, it's kind of easy to execute this side because you will have still Gecko flash, raise nade, boombot, everything, and you don't want to go hookah. So how do you want to execute this side? You want to group up here, and if you have molly, if you want to do that, if you want to show that in anti-eco, there's a Gecko lineup that lands on top of the tube but goes inside the tube. Then after that you pair up with the dizzy and with the sky backside flash, and basically anyone can on the sides tube other than here, and raise can nade here. It has to be get out or had to let the plant happen. So let's put the raise nade here. So this is a very basic execute. Then you plant the spike with the wingman. But the most important thing is that your raise need the satchel on top of here. You don't wanna cross this line that much against anti-eco, because these are very close range fight and you can get punished. So raise goes up here, so she can still take long range fights, and the rest of the team either maybe Viper late lurk and Brim late lurk hookah if needed, but you basically secure the round with this. You still have Brim molly and you still have gun advantage. We talk about this is a default heavy map. After you condition them, you're kind of going fast. You start going back to default, because defaulting is important, especially baiting at util, especially when you have Gecko, because Gecko util is you just use it and pick it up again. So this default is B long default. Raise and Gecko trying to get this orb and get this control. If there's too much resistance, don't go in. That's the basic of the bind. If you see some extremities getting too much resistance, for example, these ones, you kind of don't want to go there because beginning of the round, because they basically don't want you to go there, and you rather let them spend their util in that sense, because you kind of in bind it's important to burn a couple important utilities. So raise nade most likely, and if you're playing against Brim, Molly, and if you're playing against Gecko, the Mosh Pit, and probably you're gonna play against Viper and Snakebite. So basically, this util, if you bait it out, whoever on that side you can fasten up. So if there's no raise, if you know raise is A and there's no nade and Brim has no Molly, nothing can stop your execute. So if there's no Viper Molly, that's also nothing can stop your execute. So basically, with this B default, you want to try to find out what's the setup. You can just, as a two people, Viper holds short, Sky holds showers, and we're trying to. So basically, one part of the map we're trying to get control, the other ones we're trying to look for aggression and look for util. So you can late flash this to see check if someone's still in hookah. You can after we take long control, we can dug up here with the wall and try to maybe put Viper inserted. There's too much options after this default. But the thing is about this default, if you take long on B, it makes yours execute so much easier, because B long is a pretty important area for attackers because it allows the TP. So therefore, this people cannot rotate that fast when you have B because it's always a threat that you might TP. And also this wall and Viper presence here with the util, when this wall and orb activated, they have to spend util to check, or they have to push these areas to make sure Viper is not lurking. So basically, B long is pretty important in that sense that you want to hold the control of teleporter, because if there's too much aggression, you can TP. And also, if you see a stack, you can just fake with send wingman too. So that's one of the first defaults you want to use. Let's move on to the second default. Other default you want to use, G2 uses, is called showers default, that you want to orb with Viper, and after the orb you want to molly here and Sky dogs and Viper follows. So basically what you're trying to do is that you're trying to take shower control and insert Viper, because when you take shower control, it's easier to split A side and execute A side, because you don't have to worry about this spam, and you don't have to smoke like this if you have shower control. So the other thing is that very important, that your B players needs to get tagged by util. If there's a Sky Flash, you want to get tagged. If there's a Prowler, you want to destroy. If there's a Gecko Flash, you want to destroy it, because the weakness of this shower default is that people crunching from the showers and kills, especially Sky is on dock, which just cannot shoot her weapon. So it's important that you show some presence on B as a macro in this map, so they are less uncomfortable to TP. So you want them to crunch on your teammates. That's why this people needs to get tagged, and do not take too much risk, because you don't want to also take a duel here for no reason while you try and take shower, because in this default you want to take shower and split A. So when you're able to take shower, it's your round kind of become easier, because you can insert Viper here, group up 4 people, and with the raised satchels, and because you have shower, you can, there's two smokes you can do very deep smokes, or you can just do this kind of smokes, because when the wingman planting, either they have to swing. If they swing, they have to face with Viper, and also after Sky Flash, you need to group up with Viper, and after basically having shower makes your side execute so much easier, because if there's someone playing bench, it will tag by Gecko Flash, and also it's harder to shoot Gecko Flash when you have Sky Flash coming on the way too. So you have to always try to pair these two together, then Sky can rotate the showers, and if they get tagged, Viper gets a free pick. If not, they have to push towards backside, and then it's based on your post-plan fundamentals, how you want to play. Usually we play that, G2 play that they put one here, 2 showers, and the basically triangles in here. So from this contact, shower can peek. From this contact, if the shower gets smoked, from this contact they can flash out. there's so much options, and basically based on your team's fundamentals on post plant and positions and how you want to play the post plant. So based on this anti-ecos and 2 defaults, you can mix it up with your ultimates. So there's an important ultimates that you should execute with, which is Gecko Thresh and Raise Showstopper. So there's 100 Thieves version and also G2 version. I think everyone knows these versions and they use it interchangeably. So for 100 Thieves version, is similar to your pistol round, that you do Gecko Molly. Gecko Molly will land here. Sky will dog immediately. And after that, Brim will stim, and we're gonna Gecko ult with the stim and raise and get Brim following. And while this Thresh going on towards Hookah, and 2 things that before we start, I kind of forgot. We need the Brim Molly, then stim. Then after Brim Molly, Viper needs the Molly in the tube. So everyone around this spot, if they want to go back, they have to take the Molly damage. If they want to stay in tube, try to hide from Thresh, they have to get out because there's a Viper Molly in there. So and the only thing they can do is elbow. If they go long, they will get. If they were too long, for example, they will be pushed out by Gecko Molly, and you can catch them with the ult.
You'd love to get some impact out of this, but how do you contest against a Thrash? Thrash for the Boombot mosh pit. The Prowler EU is going to be safe, just catching that's one. And I mean, talking about catching, Leaf just one to the dome. Will fall, close, tight angle, flash and connect, Jonah P. Thinking it was safer, but he's just trying to be the playmaker in the moment.
It's a main fundamental of this map that if you kill the B side, if you kill especially elbow play, for example, usually Sky plays elbow or Fade. So after you kill this B player on elbow, you need to double up, maybe triple up, because on bind, if you take elbow control, this is unretakeable, because whoever comes here, they cannot get out to side, and they have to clear elbow before they go on side because you won't allow them to get in. So again, you need to pair up Sky and Gecko flashes in here to combinations to not let them in.
Fault 3. I'm jumping in.
Wait. We've double flash.
Someone's in defender spawn.
Yeah, just jumping.
Tell me when.
Flashing.
No.
Shoot.
No.
One enemy.
Also down there. 199. Nice.
Okay. Who's got this?
On A side, you can, when you have Showstopper, you can pair up with the shower default, because when you take shower, again, this side is so easier to attack. So after you take showers, you group up, and after you group up in this one though, if you have Showstopper, you don't want to use your smokes like that, because it will give them the places to hide basically. So what happens is that you want to smoke like that, and with the guiding light, which is Sky Flash on the backside, and Gecko on top of the wall, and Raise on Satch's Showstopper, whoever's on the side. And when they raise on the air, Viper has to swing, trade him, whatever. So basically, it's very hard ultimate and hard execute to stop. So and also since you are drawing your line in this spots, makes it really hard to retake, because they have to clear U-hole, they have to clear backside, they have to clear. They have so much things to clear, and you need to really mess this up to lose this round when you get into, especially with this smokes to A side. The one of the other default you want to run, which is a hookah default, which this come kind of little struggles, that because G2 tries to do especially showers default and B long default. So if they really getting contests in these areas, they go back to this third option, which happens that Sky and Raise, Sky flashes here, Raise blast packs into the hookah, and they take hookah control and try to the only thing they try to do is that they want to brim smoke here, because when you get a brim smoke here, you actually get a huge map control. So when they brim smoke here, you have to be careful about this aggression, because they make sure you're not getting out here, because you can't get out here. There's so much angles you have to look at. There's under hookah, there's a box. You basically, if you're not crazy, you cannot pushing out the smoke. So you have to be careful about this. And after you bait the smoke, there's 2 options. Either you can leave Raise here, immediately rotate to A, because you know that the aggression will come here, or at least 2 people have to stay here until the smoke dissipates, and brim smokes last 20 seconds, so it gives you time to move around the map. So, or you can just basically take B long with the Sky and Gecko and basically raise execute from hookah, which is hookah satchels are pretty strong on the raise too. So this is the other default that you can pair it up with Sky ult better, because when you Sky ult here from the hookah, it's harder to shoot raise on the air because there's other seekers coming people's way rather than just flash. So you wanna, if you take hookah and if you have Sky ult, you can go to this default, or you can just misdirection to the bait the smoke and move towards A. And the last thing that G2 does is defaults plus fake. So let's say you do your shower default. We're gonna molly here, Sky dog here, and we'll take the space and insert wiper. Then we immediately Sky gonna rotate here, and 3 people gonna go long. And with the 3 people gonna go long, we try to take this with the boombot or nade. We can use our nade and boombots or wingman flash, the dizzy. We try to take the space after that. So because after we take the space, we will send a fake wingman and fake smokes to the side. So we will double smoke, and we're gonna send dizzy and fake wingman, and after a couple seconds passes, that because we condition the enemy with planting with wingman all the time, so after this they will hear wingman, they probably rotate, and we will gonna 3 people TP. And since Sky is short, he's gonna be late, we execute, and Sky gonna backstab with that. The other fake is that we start with hookah default. We basically take in hookah with Sky flash and raise satchel, and we're trying to, again, as a reminder, we're trying to force out this smoke. After we force out the smoke, that allows so much easier, so easy to fake. So after we do that, Gecko leaves to short, Sky again, same concept, and Bream groups up with this trio. And after this, we're gonna wall up. We're gonna put close smokes this time because we don't have shower control and something like that. And also we want them to have to re-clear that after we TP. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put these smokes, we're gonna probably Viper Molly this area so they don't come out, and we're gonna dizzy and fake wingman towards the side. And after a couple seconds, since this smokes will protect you, you will see raise nade coming. They will react to this wingman a lot because you condition them in the first half of the attack round. So after this conditioning happened, because we have hookah, we can immediately 3-man TP, and after 3-man TP, Sky again can be backstabber, or if no resistance at long, she can help with the flash to get on the side. So basically, you can use this fake to after you condition them. After you condition them, you're just planting all the time with the wingman.
Waits it out though. Prowler catches it. Trailblazer alongside the boombot to seize and a nade. Again, at least the seize is good, but the nade just a little bit too deep. Banks it off to the side now. Reposition from EDG. They want to try and take up that shower's control. Kang's still there. Has the ult waiting at the minute mark, but there's no signs from G2. They want to take the TP pivot. The spike was already leaning over towards the speed direction, and a lot is asked.
And the last thing, if you're playing against Yoru, you have to know the timings of Yoru TPs. So Yoru usually send his TP 5 or 6 seconds before round start. So you have to be sure when the TP expires and the second TP because when TP expires, he will put another TP and try to aggress one of those areas. Yoru will, because he has TP, he will aggress with the clone, he will aggress with the flash to try to make you uncomfortable on your default. So basically you need to adjust your timings based on that a little bit. Maybe start your default 10 seconds later. So you will waste a little bit more time, but believe me, it's against Yoru. You want to do that because when you cut off because Yoru's strength is that if you group up hit something, he immediately gonna TP and fight with you in the flash and disrupt your executes. And if your execute is disrupted, your attack is kind of gonna fail because executes are the best thing in this map as an attacker. It's really hard to stop, and if your execute is stopping, it means that you're losing the attack rounds. So basically, you have to change your timings against Yoru.